we're going to go ahead and get started and talk about fintech, talk about payments here at Rapyd University. This is our office hours. We have a gathering every last Thursday of the month. So this is the last Thursday, the month of July. We'll go ahead and get started and head over to the next slide. I'll just go through an overview of basically what we're going to do today. Again, for those of you familiar with Rapyd or just getting familiar with Rapyd for the first time, we'll go through an overview and maybe you'll learn something just a little bit about the history and payments and really why fintech is so important for every business. We'll go and just share and dive into a use case, and then we'll get into an API example. Today we're going to do just a create payment request, request signature that will show just to connect to the API and get started as a developer. Of course, we'll be working in Python today, and then we'll have a time just a general Q&A. If anyone has questions, of course, you can comment in the video as well as head to community.rapyd.net and just look at what we may be working on, and if you have any questions, feel free to just comment in there. Welcome, Mina. I just wanted to go over this. Really, this statement's simple. Every business accepts payments. Whether you are, brick and mortar, you are online. Of course, that is essential in today's digital world. But whether you are through a platform in a marketplace or just building your own, every business has a form of value exchange. And so this is so important to being a sustainable business, to really doing business and serving your customers and what they're going to invest in your business to get the product or service that you sell. And so really, again, every business accepts payments. The options and which the way you are a business accepts payments may vary. And so really, through what platform, the website, the application in which a business, a game, anything is located where your customers now check out, or whatever you're building, the users will check out in that space. And then where are they located? What country are they coming from? Of course, this matters for usability and a product that cares about locality, of course, languages, but then also, what is specific to that country. And there may be regulations that may stop you one way or another to be able to do business or build in that country. The next thing is, who are your customers specifically, and what do they care about, and what are they paying with? What local payment methods are specific to who they are? Are they using e-wallets? Do they use card? Do they use cash? Is it bank transfer? And so that's important when considering your product or service that you're really providing for your customers and how they're going to pay for that. And so let's just look at quickly what this looks like, okay, in online gaming specifically. And so let's say you are a mobile game. I know that the previous slide with the girl was at a desktop, but she could be a streamer and streaming an emulator and a mobile game, right? And how to make purchases on that mobile game could be restricted to the phone. And so, of course, if it's Apple, there's Apple Pay. Google, any Android, there's Google Pay, Samsung Pay, whatever payment avenue, could be just through that marketplace. But if you want to expand, if that business wants to expand, I know many mobile games now are offering the same thing, offering their products through their own company website. So you would click a link and redirect to their company website and then be able to pay, and they'd have many more options to pay through that, bank transfer, and of course they would make more revenue on their own website. And of course, also there's third-party websites that you would go on to buy credits for the game on their website. And so those are different ways that need to be built out by the developer to accept payments, and definitely maybe different payments. Of course, let's say this game is offered in 25 countries. It means different payment methods, and of course, young adults, they may be more inclined to e-wallet, or just getting their card, but definitely not bank account. Maybe if they're older, certainly bank account, and then of course you have virtual accounts, and so just a few payment methods that could be offered. You also have cash as well. And so, yeah, the idea is really Rapyd uses one integration for all these options. And so let's look at just the timeline, the evolution of before the internet. Of course, there was offline payments. There was a lot of brick and mortar, but then came on the internet. Of course, card payments would sync online, and then you started doing more payments online. Of course, there was cloud, and just more moving towards more mobility and mobile payments, especially. The next phase would be really this idea. It's not Rapyd, but just this idea of one integration for everything you need, wherever payments goes. You would be able to integrate a company like Rapyd, which is a fintech as a service, and then Rapyd would just kind of begin to accumulate and integrate everything that you need in the future. And so again, just this idea, the reality of one single point of integration. Uh, and so you have multiple platforms: Rapyd Collect, where you accept payments; Rapyd Disperse, where you would pay out to any vendors, any customers even, or any specifically workers that you could contract. And so that is even payments and payouts, just one integration. Of course, you have wallets, which is the hub of financial funds being held, and you could even create an ecosystem within that, transfers to one another. Of course, there's rapid issuing for cards and virtual accounts, and then all these microservices around that, which includes identity verification, compliance services, which can take months to be able to go through. Of course, FX support when you're doing global payments, and then all the different payment categories and methods that are included with that. Global developer community to help one another building. We have tons of resources. I'll share that in a little bit for the developer to build. One thing we do have coming soon, I'm excited about this actually. We have it's available in Postman. It's open API, so you can take a look at that. Definitely going to be shared soon. And so this is really what it looks like as a developer. You are the developer building one integration with Rapyd, and that includes so many different services across different countries to do cross-border payments, cross-border movement of funds, banks, different compliance regulations, certainly different payment methods, FX rates, and payment gateways you would have to all come under and really integrate. But with Rapyd, really there's one. And so this is what it would look like on the outside, on kind of the interface of everything connected together. So you would be the connector with Rapyd, the fintech as a service integration, and the company that you're building for, company that you're building, or really any clients that you take on, would include what you incorporate in your service. And so, yes, this really global network that is altogether complex, but made simple when you have that integration. And so, what is this idea of fintech? Well, again, every business accepts payments. And so all these, not all these companies are fintech. I think only two, the bottom two, but IKEA furniture, Uber, Rappi, and so these basically all accept payments, and really all work with Rapyd. And so there's an aspect to them where they need different payment methods to serve their customers, as well as including payouts, to pay out to different beneficiaries as well. I think actually Lano is a payroll company uh, as well. So they specifically focus on disperse on payouts. PaySafe is payments for entertainment, anything, of course, any concerts, anything like that. And so, really, what is this recipe to make money? Really, it's just steps, just simple steps, and what anyone would do to build out, um, with Rapyd, and build this model. And so you provide a service like all those companies, like Uber, for your customers. And as you begin to acquire users and grow, of course, there are more financial services that you can add. Wallet, where they can store funds, credit, which probably is the first, any with any payments, of course, adding bank transfer, whatever you want to offer, or whatever your customers use, you can incorporate that as you begin to grow in that area. Of course, there could be added services for your customers. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little, specifically looking at Uber, but of course, this is becoming more of this idea of the super app, of adding one, or with one app, having multiple services, and specifically financial services for your customer. And so Uber, we all know Uber, ride sharing, you call a taxi, call an Uber and pay for it. But they also not only have wallets, but they're they're able to pay out to their drivers, and so they specifically oversee this process. And so their drivers can choose from weekly bank account deposits, just instant deposits, or daily deposits for a small fee. Of course, uh, Uber makes money off this, as well as the company that Uber is using for these payouts. And then they have wallet funds, both the customers of Uber as well as the drivers of Uber. They have both wallet funds they store with Uber. So basically, it's like a bank. Um, and then there's even debit issuing. They issue cards they can use as well. So with fintech, with an integration, this is made possible for a ride-sharing company for Uber, where they can focus on their services, and then these financial services are provided. Um, and so Rapyd itself, as a developer community, I just wanted to jump in this and share this next slide. We have so many resources for developers to start building. We have a community forum that you can post any question and get help. We have a lot of developers asking questions, even just about integrating, that we help answer. We have our GitHub repos. I'll go over one today, our Postman collection that I mentioned earlier. We have of course, our social community. Um, uh, Actually, McKay here helps oversee our docs, and documentation to help you integrate and understand each product. We have meetups like this online, as well as online tutorials and walkthroughs that you can look up and get help as well. And so, what does it look like to create something like Rapyd? Well, this is, of course, when you look at or refer back to the network of global services, this is super, super simplified. Actually, putting together Rapyd has so many different microservices, is very complicated in putting together over time. That's why it's been done for the developer, done for businesses, but this is really what was used to get started. And so again, super simplified, but just built on AWS cloud and added with MongoDB and MySQL and with its database, and the front end is React. Um, you see the hosted checkout or our dashboard that's made with React, and then all built with Node.js. We have a lot of JavaScript developers here at Rapyd. I just want to encourage you to get started. Really, you can sign up and grab the API keys, which we'll do today. Join the community and start building. See what you can build, and yeah, where you can offer payments for your customers for any clients that you are building for. And so I'll go through some Python examples. I'll just grab the API keys from the client portal, set the environment variables, and then do the request. And so we have, I'll just take a look at here. This is our GitHub, github.com/rapid samples. And what we're going to look, we have different repositories here you can use and look at to get started. What I'm working on right here is this Rapyd API command line interface. So this is built in Python. There's a quick guide to get started, super easy. And so you can just clone this and walk through that. It has the signature request here. We'll take a look at it. And this is basically under authentication in our API reference guide. This is basically this signature, which is important on getting started. It calculates for you this signature request, super secure, making sure all the requests, API requests are secure. And then we're going to do a payment under the payment object, create payment. And so right here above, there we go. And then what you saw there below is basically the code that you would copy also in a different folder that would connect back to what we call this utilities file. And so we can go ahead and get started. Right now I've already cloned the per repository. I have it in my guide. Oops. And so here we have what you would see in GitHub with the utilities file there. And I have it above as well. You can see there's the access key and secret key. And that uses environment variables as well as the URL endpoint. Here's the base URL. We'll be sure to set that before we make the request. And then we can see basically the timestamp being calculated, the signature headers being calculated, and then how this is put together for the API call and creating the headers, making the request. And that's going to call any files that you have for that. And we're going to do, of course, create payment for our request today. And so the first thing I'm going to do is, after I've cloned, just create the virtual environment, and I'm going to install requests. And then so what I'm going to do now is grab my API key. So I'm going to sign up. You would sign up here in the client portal, and then it would show this, your homepage. Of course, you'd be working in Sandbox, and you head to developers. And then we have our Sandbox. Oh, of course, I was just logged out. But you would see that screen. We also do have that on our documentation. And so you would go to actually developers here. Of course, McKay has put this together. You would log in, and this is the screen that showed that I was showing, and then you just copy these, the access key and secret key. And so once you have that, you just do export, and then anything that you would want to call the environment. So let's just call it SB test in this case. And so here is the short one is the access key, and then the secret key is the long. Of course, you don't want to expose these. I'm just working in Sandbox, the base URL. So this is, again, working in Sandbox, Sandbox API. And so let's go back to utilities. So yes, access key first, right here, the secret key right here, and then the base URL. If this was in production, it'd just be api.rapyd.net, but this is Sandbox, so it's going to be sandbox.api.net. So just press enter, and then we're just going to make sure this saved. I'll just do echo sb test. So then now you can see that this is calling these values. And so we'll add this at the end of every request. And so we could see each of the requests. What we're going to do now is create payment right here. We can do create payment, or sorry, Python 3 create payment.py, and you can do -h, and that's going to tell you really what is needed. Here we see again what is needed for this request. And so we're going to look at positional arguments. Sometimes it'll have things for you to copy and paste, but here we just have the file name. So the file name will contain the body. And so this will basically, if you go back to this link, it'll show you here in under create payment, this body here. So this is going to be something that you would save in a file, and that would be a lot of them are already included for different payment methods, and so that's actually here. So I've just titled this or saved this as sgfastbank.payment would be included in the request body. And of course, it's a Singapore payment method, currency, SG. This is the payment method type you could look at. We did in a previous video, previous live stream, just listing out the different payment method types. And so you would grab this and then just the amount as well. And so this is the create payment file, and this is going to use this file to be able to create that. And then so these are both included in the repository, as well as this one for payment method in Mexico, bank transfer. And so let's go ahead and create this request. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste it in. Again, so Python 3, create payment, create payment .py, and then this is the file where it's located, and then the file name sbtest -a. If I scroll up, we see the file is here, and so it's when more of the payment method types are in that file. Here's our environment variables, as well as working in Sandbox -a will include the whole request. So go ahead and send that. And so now we see the full request here. And so we see a success, original amount 100, payment status as active. And so here we would grab basically the payment ID and then all the information for that as well. We connected with the API, and that's how you integrate. You can do it quickly with GitHub repository. Basically, all these different API calls, the requests, and you can build on it, add new ones. We'd love for you to test it out, try it out, and even if you add new ones, contribute. We can even grab get the payment, and so Python 3 payment.py -h, and so it's going to call for the token. The token, remember, was the payment ID, and then the environment. And so I'm going to go ahead and just do Python 3 get payment ty, include this token, payment ID here, test, and then -a if you want all. And so yeah, again, that is just retrieving the payment as well. a few examples to get started to show you. Questions, feel free to ask. Really, thank you for gathering. Thank you for being here. I'll open it up for any questions that anyone may have.
Hi, Kyle. How are you
Hey,
doing?
hey, welcome. I'm doing well.
Hey. Well, thank you first of all for the whole introduction. I think it was really helpful. I was wondering, since Python is like one of the top languages that everyone is using right now, uh, are there any APIs or any kind of documentation material that I can use maybe for, I don't know, an integration regarding Ruby, Elixir, something more, I don't know, something on that road?
Yes. And so we do have um, basically code samples not only in our documentation. I don't think we have Ruby up in our docs, but we do have our community forum. So I'll go ahead and actually go here. Um, in our docs, yeah, getting started, we do have, actually, yeah, we do have Ruby here. Um, I will make sure actually to do a tutorial for this in the future. But you can also connect specifically to our API. We used the repo today, um, but you could also connect pretty easily with this. Save this. I've done this with Python. I haven't done it with Ruby yet, but we do have a walkthrough. I think it's either up or should be put up pretty soon. Um, okay, yeah, actually, we do have a tutorial coming soon that will give you a step-by-step with Ruby. Um, and so thanks, yeah, thanks for asking. We'll be sure to, I can send those over once those are up to send you some more, even more Ruby resources. But yeah,
Okay, thank you. No, I actually appreciate that. I can see that there are different approaches there. Okay, thank
yeah,
you anyway.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, we love more more developers working on different languages as well too. Um, I know we just had someone write about using Go, and so they actually added it here in the accept payments um, as well, and so on this repo, um, and so yeah, great question. Uh, love it, love that. Anyone else um, working on different things? Um, yeah, if you had any questions, Mina, or thanks for joining. Yeah, one thing I did say, we do have uh, an API, open API with Swagger Hub and Postman coming soon. And so we'll be able to share more resources with that, really help with a lot of different projects going on as well. So I'm excited for that too. But yeah, if there are no more questions, we can close up. And yeah, just really want to thank everyone for watching. Thank everyone for coming on and yeah, just being here. If there's anything that you would love to see, like for example, yeah, great question on Ruby. We can do that certainly in the future um, and walk through different signature requests. Um, really cool. But yeah, well, thanks again. Yeah, Vero, thanks again, Mina, for joining.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, uh, have a
Good
great
night.
day.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, thanks for watching.